Proverbs 19:21 says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." Good afternoon, everyone. As the baby of Bethlehem became the Lamb of Calvary to come back as King of eternity, we would like to share this joy through this kit based on the story of 3 trees. This kit reminds us that God has a beautiful plan for each one of us. His ways are not always our ways, but His ways are always the best. 3 little trees stood on the mountaintop and dreamed of what they wanted to become when they grew up. The first little tree looked up at the stars, twinkling like diamonds above him.
I want to hold treasure. I want to be covered with gold and precious stones. I will be the most beautiful treasure chest in the world.
The second tree looked out at the river flowing towards the ocean.
I want to be a mighty sailing ship. I want to travel dangerous waters and carry powerful kings. I will be the strongest ship in the world.
The third tree looked down into the valley where busy women worked in a busy town.
I don't want to leave this mountaintop at all. I want to go so tall that when people stop to look at me, they will raise their eyes to heaven and think of God. I will be the tallest tree in the world.
Years passed, the rains came, the sun shone, and the little trees grew tall. Then one day, a woodcutter climbed the mountaintop and saw the 3 tall trees.
This tree is perfect. Let me cut it. This tree is strong. Let me cut it. Hmm. This tree is tall. Let me cut it.
The first tree rejoiced when the woodcutter brought it to the carpenter's shop. But the busy carpenter was not thinking about the treasure chests, gold, or jewels. He used his work-worn hands to make the tree into a feed box for animals. The once beautiful tree was not covered in gold or filled with jewels and treasures. In contrast, it was covered with sawdust and filled with hay for hungry animals. The second tree smiled when the woodcutter took it to a shipyard, but no mighty sailing ships were made that day. Instead, the one strong tree was chopped and hammered into a small fishing boat. The third tree was confused, for the woodcutter cut him into strong beams and just left him in the lumberyard. Years went by, and the trees nearly forgot their once precious dreams. Then, one night, golden starlight poured over the first tree as a young woman placed her newborn baby in the feed box. "This manger is beautiful for our baby Jesus," she said. And suddenly, the first tree knew that it was holding the greatest treasure in the entire world. A treasure so immaculate, a gift so indescribable and incorruptible. So this Christmas time, let us renew our commitment to Him, adore Him, and enthrone Him in every aspect of our lives. One evening, years after, a tired traveler and his friends crowded into an old fishing boat. The traveler fell asleep as the second tree quietly sailed out into the lake. Soon, thunder and thrashing storm arose.
Jesus, wake up! There's a big storm! We're going to drown!
Be still!
Who is this man? Even the wind and the waves obey him.
Suddenly, the second tree knew it was carrying the real king, the king of creation who can calm every kind of storm. We know that Jesus rebuked his disciples for their little faith. This festive season, may we create opportunities to grow in faith. One Friday morning, the third tree was startled when its beams were yanked from the forgotten wood pile. The tree couldn't believe it when soldiers nailed a man's hand into it. The tree felt ugly, harsh, and cruel.
Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they do.
Surely he took our pain and bore our suffering. In Isaiah 53:5, but he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed. One Sunday morning, when the sun rose and the earth trembled with joy beneath, the third tree knew that God's love changed everything.
I am the resurrection and the life. He who ever believes me will live, even though he dies.
It's not about the manger or the shepherds or the wise men. It's all about the cross. Christmas is about forgiving and restoring relationships. Christ's second coming is as imminent as his first. He came as King of Kings to wipe away every tear. This is the hope of Christmas, the hope of eternal life. As Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future."